Today's the day. I got a decoder and a speaker for this guy, so let's see if we can put sound in this. I want to document it because I've never seen anyone post videos of how they did it. There are some online tutorials, but you know, just photographs, there's going to be steps missing, you know, things like remove the shell. It took me a little while to figure out how to remove the shell. I was afraid of breaking something, so we'll get into that. So let's see how this goes. As usual, the hard part's getting you in here with the camera to see what I'm working on. So hopefully this will work. If not, I may change the camera angle. We'll see. I got these. I was at Paris Junction where I picked these up. That's Paris, Ontario, not Gay Paris. But I noticed I've got a fair amount of space in the tender. So I thought, instead of making my own baffle, I'll get some baffles. This for there's a little speaker in there too. This for the 9x16 millimeter speaker. Yeah, 9x16. And then of course I've got a wired ESU sound decoder. I think I've mentioned before, I had in a previous video, I've had this thing apart before, like completely, when I was investigating what it's going to take to put a decoder in. I don't really remember exactly what I did. So I'm going to start by taking the bottom cover off here so I can get to so I can remove the tender. This is a second run Kato Mikado, I believe, and I've read about previous ones having a problem where the drawbar gets bent, and then good luck getting good pickup and keeping things on the tracks. So I'm just going to take the tender apart now and separate that. There's really not much to it. I don't know if you saw what I did there. Maybe I should bring you in a little closer. So yeah, you take the bottom cover off here, tender mounts to this, just with it just slips over that pin, and it just pops right off as soon as you get the bottom cover off. To get the shell off, it just pulls off, and there goes the wheels. Now I'm going to put that cover back on. I seem to remember when I had this all off before, I didn't really have to mess with taking the wheels out of their cradles. I may have to this time because I got to get that motor out of there. But we'll see. I'm going to try something different with the camera. Alright, plan B. We'll try the camera up there. Putting the cover back on just to hold those wheels in place until I decide that, yeah, I have to take them off. Alright, back to getting the shell off. That's the metal frame, and that's the plastic shell. It's just a simple matter of kind of prying it up. Alright. How did I do this last time? There's the smoke box details. They come off. I see. I can just see a little bit of a screw hole poking right there. I just need something to grab the frame, so I've got a little leverage when I pry up on the... I hate this part. I'm used to doing diesels. They generally just pop right off. Yes, I remember now. So yeah, this side, it's all one piece. I hope you're seeing that. It's not just shadows. Now, can I get the frame off? Yep, there. Breathe a sigh of relief. Nothing went flying. That's the weight. So, I just you kind of pry back and up. Nothing's glued, it's all just snap fit. Hope that helps someone who may be watching later, wanting to do one of these for themselves. Next, the smoke box comes off. They're already removed, but there was like metal bars that go from the pilot to the smoke box, and those I've already pulled off from the last time I did this. I don't know how well you can see it, but these little running boards here, you just pry them out just a little bit and then you can get the smoke box off. I seem to be using the term smoke box and firebox interchangeably. I know the difference. I'm just kind of concentrating on this. There's the weight out. Now some people will cut the weight and put the decoder in there, but I want this thing to have every little ounce of weight it can get. So the decoder and the speaker are going in the tender. If I can get away with just having the motor and the light wires running, that'll be good. Squeeze that back into place. Now, there's a little plate here that covers the worm gear. Come on, there we go. Come on, there. That just, I suppose just holds the motor in. Just pull this out. This LED is really yellow. I'm trying to decide if I want to try and put a white one in. Definitely something I'm going to think about, because the yellow light just looks weird to me. It may be prototypical, or it's, you know, I say yellow, it's really orange, really. It may be prototypical, but I don't like it. So. I feel like wire management is going to be the biggest problem with this install. Oh, come on. Get out. There we go. Motor's out. Put that worm back in there. Alright, I got a plan. Obviously, these little strips touch the sides of the frame to get power to the motor. You can't have that with DCC. So I'm going to put a little blob of solder just like right there. I just don't want to completely remove these because I don't want to solder to that. That could bugger up the brushes inside. And I don't want to pop it off because anytime I've messed with brushes on one of these motors, that's the end of the motor. So yeah. I'm going to take the tender apart, try and get a better idea of what I'm going to do here. I just grab it by like the edges here, the corners, and the sides, and the top just comes off. There's just little nubs inside there that hold the tender to the frame. I'm going to drill a hole like right here to pass my wires through. Now here's one thing I'm a little worried about. Did I just drill that hole into this so that that's going to be in the way anyway? Let's find out. Sure did. Now the hole's completely blocked. So, nothing to do but to carve that out, I guess. Maybe I'll try and get this weight out of here first. I don't really know what's holding this in either. Oh, maybe it's... Oh yeah, there it is. It's like a false floor that's being held in by little clips on the sides of the tender. Yeah, there's where I need to be. There's the contact strips. Yep, and this holds the contact strips tight against the tender wheels. So don't bugger that up, Leon. Don't bugger that up. Taking the weight out. Don't bend these, stupid. Don't bend these. Now I'm just going to shave this out. Oh, let me clean that up with a file just because, you know, I'm feeling sassy. One thing I've noticed in here, what's that for? I guess that's just to hold everything down. I wonder how necessary that is. I mean, decoder will fit in there like that. Then the speaker in the front. Just means I'm going to have to lengthen my wires a little, which in a spot where there's probably not going to be any room to lengthen the wires. Some of these wires won't be used at all. Okay, thinking time. Got out the old Loksound instructions. Figure out which wires I'm going to need. Just motor and the light, hopefully. Alrighty, headlight is white and blue. Blue is the common for all the lights, but the headlight's going to be the only one on here, so get a piece of heat shrink. There's the heat shrink. Orange. And blue. No, orange and gray. So I don't need purple or yellow. Green. I got track power and the two speakers. All of those will stay in the tender. Oh, there we go, it's through. Alright. Probably going to cut those wires I don't need shorter. I'm going to cut those wires right now. That's all the 3 wires I'm not going to use bundled together and heat shrinked to hopefully just keep them in place. I didn't cut them so short that I can't use it again if I ever have to, but I can't see putting even a reversing light on this. Just the headlight. That's all I'm really worried about. And there, that freed up a little bit of space. Now these are going to be too short to reach the engine. I'll have to lengthen them, which annoys me a little bit, but the motor wires will be fine.
12 seconds later.
Alright, I had no choice. I blew it up. It's all in pieces. The problem isn't where to put the speaker or where to put the decoder, because those fit in the tender just fine. It's where to run the wires from the motor back to the decoder. If the flywheel was at the other end of the motor, it would help immensely. But you got to get the wires past the flywheel, so that's the problem. Anything I could figure out was going to rub. So I got to take it apart, and I'm going to Dremel some parts out. Basically Dremel some wire runs into the frame and hope I can put this thing back together. Yeah, I don't know how well you can see what I've done here, but probably cut out more than I needed to, but I didn't want to get it all back together and then find out that, oh, I should have chopped that out too. So let me see if I can explain this. This may not have been necessary. With my, knowing me, it was probably overkill, and hundreds of guys have done this before without having to mill this much out, but it really wasn't a lot. It was just, I'm just trying to make little grooves for these little tiny wires. So I'm going to have the top wire connected, obviously, here. I'm just going to run down this side. I cut a little gouge in this side, and it's going to come out here and then run along the back, run along there to over here, where I probably didn't need to cut this out, but it's going to come through here and then out the back. Then the same thing here. The bottom connection will be here, and just bring that wire out here, along here, hopefully avoiding the flywheel, and then out the back. The light wires will hopefully just run along the boiler from up here and here as well.
6.5 hours later.
Okay, I got all the valve gear back together. I don't know how, but yeah, that was a pain in the butt. I just lost like 3 hours. Anyway, I just test ran it on DC and it runs, no binds. Alrighty, we're handheld now. You can see where I soldered the, we'll call it the gray wire, to the bottom of the motor. And I had to use a different wire to extend the length. But there's the, we'll call that the, what was it, orange wire. I've got a little dab of crazy glue, or CA, just holding the wire where I want it. Hopefully that'll all be covered up by the body and shell and stuff. We'll see. I've cut the traces for the LED here, here, and here, so it's completely electrically isolated. Just got to run my wires now. Oh, I swapped in a new LED. I'm not sure what color it is, but hopefully better than orange. I found a pack of 3 of them that I had, so. Okay, I've got the LED wired up, as you can see. I've got the motor cradle back in, and the worm gear holder downer, whatever you call it. I snuck the wires down through a little gap here. They're not pinched or anything, so. And they're going to follow under the cab over here, I guess where you can't see. Whoop. Let's try that for you. So yeah, they're gonna come along where that white wire goes, gray wire, whatever it is. The weight still fits. I'm not worried. That's going to be fine. Just about ready to put the cab back on. See how that goes. Yeah, that's a stressful moment. There's the shell on. I still have to add the sides of the firebox. Hopefully they'll cover those wires up pretty good. There's all the side skirting and everything back on. You can't see the wires. Happy about that. I got them coming out the back of the engine like this. Nothing. Okay, the tender is installed back on the locomotive. I'm going to hook up the power for the decoder first before I do the lights or the speakers. I just got to test this, make sure we're good before I waste any time. This thing has been fighting me every step of the way. Something as simple as running the power leads to the tender. Oh man. But I got it hooked up. What a fight. Okay, I'm getting there. I've got it on the Look Programmer track. Let's start up Look Programmer and see if we make smoke. This thing has like safeguards against that. It's supposed to shut down if there's a problem. It won't read the decoder if there's a problem, so Let's see if it'll read the decoder. Yep, it's gonna read. Alright, now I feel good about hooking up the lights. Yay, the light works. This has been a fight. What am I gonna say? I think I'm ready to add the speaker now. I'm just gonna check it and make sure it still reads. Driver's cab. Go. Okay, no smoke. Light, yep. And sound. Nothing. Let's try the horn. Okay, it's got a horn. Alright. This thing goes, yeah. Okay, we got sound. I forgot the ESU decoders, when they come with some different standard, I guess. Like you know, normally F8 is to turn on the sound. Well, in this case, I pressed F1 to turn on the sound, and yeah, that's when I got sound. So okay, yeah, speaker works. Now let's cram this all in. That little gap where I fed the wires through a hole, I should have just cut that right out. Yep, think I'm going to do that. Hopefully without nipping any wires. Every step of the way this thing's fought me. There, that's better. Why did I do that to myself? There, I got all the wires in. I had to use a smaller baffle, pretty much the smallest one I had for the speaker, so we'll see how it sounds. Okay, let's see if it makes sound. Not too bad for diesel, eh? Well, let's see if we've got motion. Yay. Now I'm going to upload the proper sound file for a 282. Alright, it's the next day. I'm going to try and reorganize the wires in the tender. I can do better than that. There's no metal touching metal. There's nothing to short. I'm quite sure of that. But I'm just going to open it up and see if I can clean it up. Okay, I cleaned it up. There's, let me see, where's my tweezers? I don't know how well you can see. I kind of bundled all the wires together. There's really not a lot of excess in there, but I kind of bundled them together so they weren't interfering with anything basically. I cut the top out of the tender where the coal bunker sits for the speaker. So I'm going to leave the speaker with the metal side up, just like that. And then I can put the coal bunker in. It fits in there, beauty. And let's see if I buggered anything up. Let's try sound. I don't know if this thing has drive hold or not, but I haven't figured out where it is if it does. And the motor still turns. Okay. Well, there we go. I've had it running around for about a week, and it runs pretty good. I've painted it up in a fantasy paint scheme for Algoma Central. I've weathered it a little bit. It's supposed to be a museum piece, so it's not going to be very heavily weathered. It's, you know, in my mind, it's been well taken care of. So yeah, if you like what you saw, why don't you hit the subscribe button for me and follow along as I build this thing, and thanks for watching. See you in the next one.